Raldi's Crackhouse is a very well made Baldi Basics mod that has a lot of bosses, is very difficult to 100%, and has a lot of memes. I did 100% it normally and thought it might be fun to speedrun beating every boss. So the timer starts as soon as I name myself and we immediately go into story mode to beat the game normally. For the speedrun I want to get every single badge, which means beating every mode and beating every boss. So this mod is actually filled with memes. For example, Raldi, instead of a ruler, has a knife. The principal is Chipflock, which I think is a YouTuber. Van Man is basically playtime, but he kidnaps you. First prize has a holy bible, but I hire a hitman with the iPhone that I got. There are plenty new items like the Monkeinator, which is very overpowered, the Glock, which you can use to shoot Raldi and other stuff, and there's a get out of jail free card that you can use to, well, get out of jail. But I can use the Monkeinator to grab the final notebooks. The Monkeinator is very OP because you can just kill Raldi. Also shoot him right here with a Glock. There's the Polish cow, which teleports you, but I want to get all of the exits around the schoolhouse. I even get in detention. You need to poop every 2 minutes in this game, which sucks, and if you don't poop you become slower and slower until you have diarrhea and you just lose. The only good thing about pooping is that in the toilets, if Raldi sees you, he respects your privacy. He just runs like this, and I easily get to the last exit. That's story mode complete, and now we unlocked pizza mode, and now we're gonna do pizza mode. So in story mode, every time you get a notebook there's a meme, but here there are no memes. You just immediately get the notebook, and Raldi now is dripped out. I'm gonna be using pretty much a similar route, just getting the Monkeinator's, as they are very good for speedruns. They just make you go so dang fast. I'm gonna break open all of the windows that I want because the notebooks are gonna respawn after I get all 10. In general, there's just a bunch of chaos. There's also Mr. Beast in this mod, and he drops quarters because he's so rich. But after I get the 10th notebook, it's more bin time, and now I have to get all of the notebooks again. That is Raldi right there. I have to be very careful though, because in pizza mode, when you get 10 notebooks, your speed doubles, but there's just so much chaos you can basically kind of run into him. So I try to get the notebook, where I get teleported away by Mr. Beast, who's doing a challenge. There's also Beans that has a gun now, and I also use the Glock here to get the second Monkeinator that's out here. But I grab the 2 final notebooks here with the Monkeinator, and now all I have to do is just make it to the final exits. But Raldi cuts me off, so I have to go all the way around schoolhouse. I almost get in detention, but I finally make it to the last exit, and that's it. That's pizza mode complete. So now I'm going to try to beat Neil mode, but I first need to unlock it, and to unlock it I need to go into this room, into this bathroom, break through the window, and I'm gonna be given a set of object tasks, which is kind of like Mega Man. I haven't played that game, but I know what it's like. I need to complete a set of tasks for each main character. For example, Mr. Beast, I go grab a gun and his credit card, and because I stole the credit card, he tries to attack me, but if I shoot him with a gun, we get into this Deltarune boss fight. I equip the Glock in my items, and even though this fight is normally hard, if I just attack him anywhere with a Glock, he just dies immediately because it's a Glock. If I go through this boss poster, which you can go through boss posters, there's Walter White, and he's selling me I just call it candy. One of the object tasks is giving that to Raldi. I also find the first prize, and one of the object tasks is to hit first prize with a hammer. I give Raldi the candy. I shoot Van Man, which is the object task for Van Man. I look at Arts and Crafters and go pick up a notebook, which is one of the object tasks. You need to pick up a notebook right before he catches you. I give British Bloke the 15-second energy, which is one of the object tasks because he loves that. I splash Pinto Beans bullet with a B soda, which is one of the object tasks, and also get in detention and use the get out of jail free card for Chipflock's task. And now all we gotta do is just go back. That was actually very fast completion of the object tasks, and we unlocked the one in the middle, which is kind of like Noel, but for some reason he has the Peter Griffin chin and sunglasses. So the schoolhouse is all dark now and everybody's gone, but thankfully I have some money left over to just buy a few 15-second energies to just speed through this part. And now I have to pick up 5 keys around the schoolhouse to unlock this door. So I know where all the keys are. Somebody tries to talk to me, telling me that I shouldn't open the door, but I just skip through the dialogue and I run all the way to the door to the mystery room. I go backwards, and as you can see, this is just like Baldi's office when you meet Noah, but it's this guy Neil, and he tries to talk to me about some stuff, like to just close the game because there's nothing here, and that I should just leave him alone, and I shouldn't leave through the door. I should just like turn off the game. But I'm not gonna listen to him. I'm just gonna go through the door, and he's not very happy about me leaving through the door. He keeps teleporting me back, but I just keep going to the door until he eventually just gets mad, and then he crashes my game, and we unlock Neil mode. So in Neil mode, there are a bunch of gas canisters. They're basically like dirty chalk erasers from Baldi Basics Plus or Classic Remastered, and this is kind of like Noel mode, except in my opinion it's even harder because Neil is just very dang fast. My strategy is to go grab 3 hammers from these different places, because even though whenever you get 2 notebooks you get a quarter in this mode, mode, which is the only way to make money. There's actually a second way to make money, which is Raldi's bank. Guess what? He has a bank, and we're gonna break into his bank to like make no money at all. For every hammer we use at the bank, we get $2. I have a strategy to just beat this mode like 100% of the time, because $4 is actually a lot in this game. B sodas cost 25 cents, and the energy drinks cost 50 cents. But I go ahead, grab a couple of notebooks, and I'm just always gonna basically have a soda on me to spray him. I go through the cafeteria here, and this route is just very perfect. I have basically the perfect loadout. I can go ahead, grab the notebooks that I want, bash through this window to grab this notebook, and also use a soda because he was a bit too close there. But I can grab this notebook, then use the energy drink and run all the way to the 8th notebook, and then I'm just gonna repeat what I did to him, go back into the cafeteria. I can just grab myself the perfect loadout again, eat one of the energy drinks, and grab the last 2 notebooks. But before I grab the last notebook, I also make sure to use a B soda on him because he's just way too fast right now. And as soon as I get the 3rd exit, just like null mode, he disappears and he blocks the last exit. And now this is a boss fight, but instead of throwing items at him, we throw memes because Neil hates memes. This boss fight is actually much harder than null because there are a bunch of windows and he can easily cut you off here. My strategy for this is early on just keep him close to me because I don't want him to cut me off. When we're at 3 hits off from when he dies, I always go around the school and I make sure to throw all the last 3 hits very close to each other, because if he stays at 2 HP for too long, he's gonna heal up and it's gonna extend the fight really far and he's gonna become really fast, and that's really dumb. And I get him. And he gives me 2 options that we end this right here, right now, or he lied about the second option. There is no second option. Now we're at phase 3, where you need to throw a bunch of memes and the schoolhouse is just destroyed. So this is actually very easy because most memes actually spawn grouped up together and you can just spam them at him, and the higher of a combo you have, the more damage you're gonna do, and you can basically beat the fight before he gets a lot of shield, because in order to beat him, you need to do a bunch of damage to take down his shield, and then when his shield is taken down, that's when you can do damage to him. And you can also get combos if you throw a lot of items at him that like deal much more damage, and that's what I do here, just trying to get the highest combo possible before he can get to like his later phases, because if you don't have high combos and you let him survive for enough hits, his shield is gonna be so difficult to break and it's gonna be so frustrating. He's gonna be so fast, but I take him out relatively easily, and now we see a cutscene that doesn't really matter. Basically, I don't know if this is a black hole or what, but it just kind of consumes Neil, and we're greeted with our schoolhouse with Undertale music. I skip through everything and Neil shows up at the end because this is Raldi's Crackhouse. There is no actual lore. But anyway, there is a very long credit scene that I just Alt F4 to skip because it actually takes like 3-4 minutes. Haven't timed it, but I used to watch it all, but it's faster to just Alt F4 because you still get the badge for defeating Neil. So now we're gonna beat Ishan. In order to unlock Ishan, we need to go back to the object tasks, and he's gonna talk to us for a bit, give us a memory that we go and give to Ishan, who is selling potatoes right outside. And then his brother Hamoud comes by and talks about how he got a promotion at McDonald's, but anyway, we don't care. And then we give Ishan the memory, and he now is Neil, kind of, but still in Ishan's body. I don't know what's happening. We need to get back to the mystery room before it disappears, and it's the exact same thing. We need to collect the same keys all over again, except when we collect them, instead of Neil talking to us trying to prevent us from getting all the keys and unlocking the door, it says but nobody came, which is just like Undertale Genocide, even though I haven't done that yet. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But after collecting all of the keys and going to the door, we agreed with this VHS like player, and we put tapes into the TV, and we get some lore to the backstory of all the characters. For example, Chipfloak was a YouTuber who wanted to get a job. We get Mr. Beast's backstory and how he ended up in Raldi's Crackhouse. He was filming a video about the circle and he kind of got dragged in. And Neil's backstory was he googled a few years ago to get free money, and then he clicked on an ad from the website, not a scam, I swear, and he probably got a virus or probably got sucked into his PC. I don't know what on earth happened, but that's all the tapes. We can go through this hallway, and I think this part is kind of glitched because I remember having to input like a code and stuff, but maybe in the latest patch it was deleted. But I go back into this room where Neil used to be at, and I look behind me, and that is it, Ishan from the Packet Phoenix meme. I'll show the meme on screen. It's literally the exact same as Neil mode, except there is no phase 3, which makes it easier. So I can just do the exact same thing. But I try to hit him with this item, but I somehow didn't hit him. I don't know what on earth happened. I spinned around the 360, but he was really close to me and he's slightly faster than me. And then I hit this locker room and then he got me. So that was very bad, but it's fine. We can retry Ishan mode. That was a time loss. This time I'm way more careful. And even though he tries to block my way to the memes, I do get my hands on one and get him before he can restore some of his health. And now I got into the principal's office to get the portal gun that I can use on any balls poster. So I go use it on this balls poster. And this part is also kind of glitched, I think. I remember it being different, but I guess they removed some parts of the game, which is better for the speedrun, to be honest. Well, that's it. Well, these Crackhouse, and then they close the game again for some reason. Now we're going to go for skinned mode, which is actually one of the hardest modes in the entire game. In order to get this mode, first of all, we need 2 hammers that I get, and we also need to go in this room and grab the modified PlayStation controller from this kid. And while avoiding the polished cow, we can use the 2 hammers on this couch, go through the balls poster behind the couch, put the modified PlayStation controller on the computer, and grab the CD as well. And we get the 2 notebooks, and if we go into the school faculty room, we're gonna see this guy. But this literally turns Raldi's Crackhouse into a freaking horror game. I'm not gonna lie, I got actually scared when first playing this. And this is a hard mode as well. Unlike Ishan mode and Neil mode, he doesn't have an aura around him. We get a time, we get 15 seconds head start at the start, but pretty much most items are skinned, and we have to get the scraper, put it in a rough hand, and unskin them, kind of. My strategy for this is to get these items and wait at this door and time when I open the door so he breaks the windows I want. I also break open this window for later. And for the strategy, I'm not gonna be grabbing any skins yet, which instead of notebooks there are skins now, which is basically the same thing, except they don't give you stamina. I'm gonna be grabbing a bunch of B sodas and using them on the skinned alarm clocks and 15-second energies because that upgrades them. For example, the alarm clock becomes the stunning alarm clock and the 15-second energy becomes the 25-second energy, which both have insane abilities. And B sodas in this mode aren't very good because instead of pushing him back, they just stun him for a few seconds, which is not good. I snipe the alarm clock from behind the window with this soda and get into the faculty room, get all of my stuff. I get a second scraper because this one is about to break, and I get the Cyano's 25-second energy, and I get another 25-second energy and another B soda. I use the second scraper because the first one broke. I'm waiting for the Skinner here because the Skinner is actually extremely fast. That's why I'm not grabbing any skins now. I need to get all of my items before I grab any skins, because if I grab any skins, he becomes so dang fast. Even with a 25-second energy, you can outrun him. I kind of stole this route from Nephrite, pretty much every single part about it, but I couldn't really find any other routes that were as consistent as this one. And what I need to do here is start grabbing the skins. So I try to grab the zesty bar, but I accidentally place the clock down. That's attempt 1 gone. That's fine. Attempt 2. I'm at the same spot now. Surely I won't mess up again. There is no way I messed up again. How am I so... Oh my god. That's fine, attempt 3. The game also spawns at different parts of the schoolhouse every attempt, and I just have to run back to the place where my route starts. And if I'm too far away, I just retry. Everything is going perfectly. I actually eat the zesty bar properly this time. And also you're gonna notice there are 16 skins, and that's because whenever I grab a skin and it has like an outline remaining, that means it's gonna respawn when I get 10 skins. And I need to keep mental track of which skins are gonna respawn, just so I don't have to waste time checking all of the rooms again, because the Skinner is so dang fast when you get even a few skins. But the Skinner is following me right now, but that's fine because I set an alarm clock before getting the second skin, and now I can set another alarm clock here for 45 seconds. And what the stunning alarm clocks do is they stun him for a certain amount of time. I also forgot to set down this alarm clock, and I did it very late, which was very bad, so I had to waste one of my 25-second energies early, because otherwise I would probably get caught by the Skinner. I get 10 skins now, and I need to remember which skins are left, and I do a great job of that. The alarm clocks also go off, so now I'm waiting for the Skinner to show up behind me. So that's why I'm looking behind me, and he shows up in front of me somehow. That's attempt 3 gone. Attempt 4. Gotta lock in now. Everything is going great. All I have to do is just be soda this 15-second energy to make it a 25-second energy. God damn it, I grabbed it too fast. Are you serious? Attempt 5. Lock in now. I spawn pretty close to the room I want to be in, and just as the Skinner breaks the third window, I open this door just so he breaks the window I want for later. I unskin this hammer and use it to break the window there for later, and I walk all the way to the principal's office where I eat the 15-second energy and cyanize my alarm clock and my 15-second energy. Now I just have to grab a B soda from this room without grabbing the skin and snipe the alarm clock, grab the second scraper for later. I cyanize this 15-second energy, use my scraper and equip the new one. I see the Skinner, so I gotta go here, grab this alarm clock after cyanizing it and getting this alarm clock that I sniped earlier. There's the Skinner right there. This is very perfect right now. He's fairly far away. I don't mess up with eating the zesty SD bar, thank god. And now I have to keep mental track of which skins have outlines. So that's 1, that's 2. So I want to also get lucky with which skins have outlines, because I don't want very far away ones to have outlines, because it's gonna be bad. The Skinner is right there though, right next to me, which is not ideal for this route. Although my alarm clock that I said before is about to go off and stun him. He gets stunned, but he can see me, although he cannot really see you when stunned, which is great. I sit down this 15-second clock, and when he gets unstunned, instead of following me, he goes the other way. And when I hear him break the window, I know that's my cue to go. I grab a B soda, grab this skin, I eat a 25-second energy, grab these 2 skins, grab this skin, and now, just so I don't get jump scared, I'm just gonna open this door, and there's a Skinner. I'm gonna use a B soda on him, and eat the 25-second energy just so I'm faster, and I'm gonna go back into the inner hallways to get this notebook, and the Skinner is gonna start going very fast trying to get me, but I'm just fast enough to go in here and grab the 16 notebook. And that's how you beat this mode. There are no exits, thankfully, and that's it. Skin. It took 5 attempts. It also shows the stats, which is pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie, but that was the most like weird mode and hard mode out of all of them. And now I'm going to try to beat Crypto Luigi, which is the boss fight that takes the longest to unlock. And that is because, first of all, you need to get a phone, a hammer, and an ender pearl, which you can get from this vending machine. Bring it all to solitary confinement to this mysterious door, where we meet this weird Luigi looking dude called Crypto Luigi, and give him the items, and he's gonna install Atlas Earth, which is an app, I think, crypto app, something like that. I throw down Atlas Earth from the phone, which is a kind of metaverse. Here you can't really die or beat the game. Anything you do includes money. Any notebook you get gives you money. If Raldi catches you, he takes money from you, and the more he catches you, the more money he's going to take. Same with detention. If you get into detention, even though it would not be very bad, Chipflock actually takes money from you, which is extremely bad. At the start, I want to get a bunch of money from Raldi's bank. In order to beat Atlas Earth, we need to get 10 Ethereum, and 1 Ethereum in this game is $2,000, and you would think that that's probably impossible, or it would take so much grinding. How on earth are you gonna make $2,000? Well, there are upgrades we can get, so I first go and get myself a bunch of dollars, even though Raldi steals some from me because he got too close. So what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be beating the game, because every time you beat the game you get 10 bucks, then using those dollars on upgrades to make more money the next time I beat the game, and then continue doing that every time you beat the game. All items reset also, so we can just use Monkinators again and again and again. And even though I get in debt a few times, I always somehow manage to like weasel myself out of it. The only way to lose this is going in debt for like more than 1 minute or whatever, because when your timer ends, you go bankrupt, and that's when everything resets. All of your upgrades reset, everything just resets, which sucks. But yeah, getting in detention too much or getting caught by Raldi too much can get you in debt. I just keep beating the game and getting more and more upgrades until I can buy the golden quarter for $100. So you know how Mr. Beast drops quarters out of his pocket? Well, we can make it just so very rarely he's gonna spawn a golden quarter, and those golden quarters multiply our earnings by 7 times whenever we have them, temporarily of course. So now this run is basically gonna become Mr. Beast only. We're just gonna be following him around, but first I need to get some upgrades for Mr. Beast, so that means beating the game some more and upgrading it just so every quarter gives us a bunch of money, and Mr. Beast drops a crazy amount of quarters. And now it's time to save up to get 1 Ethereum, and when we finally do get the $2,000 that we want, we can convert it into 1 Ethereum, and with that 1 Ethereum make it just so Mr. Beast drops even more quarters. And now we just keep getting money, but I finally have enough Ethereum. I just sell everything and turn it all into 10 Ethereums, and I finally go to Crypto Luigi and give him the Ethereums, but he looks really ominous with them for some reason, and he talks about how he's gonna take over the metaverse. But when we think all hope is lost, Walter White and Toby Fox show up to help us out. Walter talks to me about who Crypto Luigi is and that he's a crypto scammer or something, and he's gonna donkey do Ethereum to buy like the whole metaverse, so we're gonna have to stop him before it's too late. And he gives me a gun that fires money, because real cash is Crypto Luigi's kryptonite. With the 10 Ethereum I have, I can buy a few upgrades, and we're gonna be fighting at the top of the cafeteria, which is a pretty cool place, as you can see, all around. Crypto Luigi keeps talking about how he's about to go nuts, but anyway, stuff is going on. At the time I was sitting here AFK because I was looking for a cable to plug in my keyboard because it's wireless and it died. And even after panicking a bit, as you can see, there are sirens. Here he rises up, and just in time I get back. So for this fight we're gonna have to destroy all of these money blocks to take down his shield. There's a troll face that is gonna be attacking me. Walter White can cook potions for me, and I always have him set to cook me reverse karma potions, which basically when you get hit, it's called karma for some reason, but it's kind of a poison, and the inverse karma potions basically make the poison turn into healing, which just overpowers overpowered, and Walter White can sell you potions of strength and stuff. I just decided to play it safe because I'm like 2.5 hours in. Freaking getting to Crypto Luigi took more than an hour just to unlock him, man. When Crypto Luigi reaches his half health, he spawns some balloons, but I can just tank them with the inverse karma potions because they basically just poison you, and I can just turn that into healing, even though they do damage you a little bit. I also go pet the dog every now and then because he gives me some stuff, and I got Crypto Luigi to 0 health. That's the end of the boss fight, right? Nope. This guy pulls up Raldi's bank where I would get like $2 per hammer because there is like no money in there, and he pulls out so much Ethereum out of there, so he's basically gonna upgrade himself. Like, where was that money where I was trying to get it? I'm just vibing to the music right now, even while speedrunning. So now there are a few changes to what's going on. So Crypto Luigi I think has more health, and the troll face, instead of shooting from above, he actually shoots at the same level as me, so now it's much harder to avoid his attack. And there's a diamond sword spawning beneath me at all times, so I just never can stand still. That's fine though, I can drink the inverse karma potions, even though they do make an interesting sound when I do drink them. I keep petting the dog, and after tanking some balloons with the inverse karma potions, I finally take out Crypto Luigi again. So is that the end? I'm in this room now somehow, and I guess this was being like live streamed or something because people start gifting me Ethereums. This is actually a pretty cool part of the fight. I love this part, and all of the names for the people that gifted are just so funny because they're like all about crypto. But I get 64 Ethereum and I can max out all of my stuff and enter the door to fight Crypto Luigi once and for all. And this song is actually like one of my favorites, if not my favorite in the entire game. And now there are 2 troll faces shooting both at the same level as me, so it's pretty dang difficult to dodge them, and there are a bunch of diamond swords that try to attack me, and Crypto Luigi has a heck ton of health. But since I have all of my stats maxed out now, every last bullet in my money gun shoots a golden quarter that deals massive damage. Walter White keeps brewing me inverse karma potions because I keep telling him to do that, and I keep destroying the money blocks, keep shooting at Crypto Luigi, and after a very long fight, he kind of freaks out and the troll faces are kind of glitching. I just have to not get hit a lot in this part, and there we go. He's right there, defenseless, and this is a pretty badass part. I put the golden quarter in the gun, and we get this freaking Microsoft Paint ending, but then there's the freaking hill climb racing reference. There are a million references in this game, I swear to god. But now we have to beat the final mode, which is Double Trouble. It's basically story mode, except all the original Baldi characters are in this mode. So there's Baldi and Raldi, and they're teaming up against me. This mode is actually way harder than it looks, because if you run like at all, there's the principal and there's Chipfloak, and they can both catch you. And even though I tried my normal routes, my first attempt didn't work, even though it was at 10 Robux. Attempt 2, I was waiting for Polish Cow to teleport me, but Baldi was too close and he got me again. But attempt 3, everything went well. I used the Monkeynators wisely and made sure Baldi didn't get close to me. I basically didn't run at all this attempt just because I didn't want to get caught. And I go into the exit, and this is a special ending screen. There is Baldi from the Baldi's Basics Plus ending thing, but then Raldi breaks in with his car, shoots Baldi, and we get a cooler ending. And that's it. 3 hours, 2 minutes, and 20 seconds. Now, if you're a nerd at this game, you're gonna be talking about how I didn't do Corrupt Player, and that's because I did do Corrupt Player, and I did do the boss fight, but my storage ran out right here. But that's okay, I'm not gonna count Corrupt Player simply because I got all of the badges, and this was a very fun speedrun to do. It took 3 hours, so Raldi's Crackhouse was a really fun mod. It's free, everybody can play it. I love you all for watching this video. Hopefully you all have a very nice day. Peace.